Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Catherine and this is my YouTube channel. I'm so excited to welcome you guys. Well, today I'll be talking about my year, the year 2020. The year 2020 was a very special year. A lot of things happened in 2020. There was the COVID-19 lockdown. There were a lot of deaths. There were a lot of movements too, like the Black Lives Matter movement, the fight against rape movement, and police brutality movement, and yeah, a lot of things happened this year that were not. There were a lot of deaths this year. A lot of things weren't good about this year, but grateful that we've gotten to the end of it. At least there were a lot of things that sparked change, especially in the youth of our generation. Yeah, but then today I'll be talking about my own personal journey through 2020. Yes, so I hope you enjoyed the video. Let us get into the video. Yeah, so at the beginning of 2020, I was in a very bad place, mentally, emotionally, physically, everything. I was in a very, very, very bad place. I had just been betrayed by my closest friends. There was a death in my extended family. I had just written the first half of the exams that were going to determine if I get into medical school or not. And I was really scared about that. I was depressed. I felt like I was unproductive. I felt very stagnant and very numb. I was in a state of depression. I needed to get out of that space. I needed to do something differently. I'd been in this state of depression and this state of I wanted change in my life for a long time, but then I was tired of the whole cycle of, okay, today I want to change my life, I want to be a new person, I want to try to do things, be more productive and everything. And then the next 2 weeks, I'm back where I began, or even worse. Subconsciously, I was telling myself that I was not going to be able to achieve everything I wanted to achieve. I was not going to be able to actually change and be the person who I wanted to be, and that made me more depressed. So it was like I almost even started to fear starting afresh, because I had this fear that I was going to end up failing. Consistency is not my best friend. I'm not the best person at being consistent. So I needed to do something. I needed to do something that was going to be, I needed something to be different about this time. I'd been pushed to the wall. There was no going back. Like, I just needed to get out of that space. It was something that wasn't conducive for me anymore. I started to do a lot of research, ways to actually change my life and make it stick and make it work. I started to do everything, anything and everything, like anything I found out of, I just do, and then push out the things that didn't work for me, and then obviously keep the things that are working for me. One other thing I had to do was I had to get in touch with my spirituality. My spirituality was a very, very big aspect in my journey. It was very, very big for me because I felt I was lost. I felt directionless. It really helped me to start to see things in a different light. And then yeah, I started to do a lot of things that I saw that I found in my research, then pushed out what didn't work, kept what worked, and then it got to this point where I would do things. I would, like, let's say I have like a to-do list, or I had things that I wanted to do every day for a month, and then I would start to do them for I'll start to do them. I'd be doing them. Maybe I'll do them for like 7 days, and then all of a sudden I'd miss 2 or 3 days. And for me, normally, if I miss 1 day out of something, it's not going to work again. I'm not going to do it again. I said before in this channel that I'm a perfectionist. Like before, it was like, if I decided to do something and I missed it for 1 day, it's done. I failed. I'm not doing it again. I failed everything. I failed myself and everything. But then this time, I got back and I continued. Like even after there were even times that I'd miss doing what I had to do for like 6 days. Like I do for 7 and I'd not do for 6, and after the 6 I'd get back again and start again. So that was how most of it at the beginning was. And then it got to the COVID-19 lockdown, where everybody had to come back home, stay indoors and everything. And then like before, I used to have excuses for why I wasn't able to do things. I used to say that, yeah, this is the reason why I didn't get to do this. But then when everybody was indoors, there was nothing to do. Like there wasn't anything that was stopping me from doing things that I needed to do. But then I still found a way to not be productive. I still found a way to do nothing, to waste my life. I found a way to waste my life. I felt like wasting my life would have been better than trying to do something productive. And for me, productive means a lot of things. It may not mean the same thing to a lot of people, but then productive means a lot different things to me. Yeah. So I felt like I would do rubbish. I would waste my time than to actually do things that were productive. And then one of the things that I started to do more of this year, I actually had to learn how to journal the right way, because I'm somebody that has been journaling for I've been having journals since I was very young, but then I never actually knew how to journal. I never knew how to journal correctly. So I had to learn that. I had to learn how to journal correctly, and I had to start journaling. That was something I incorporated into my life that actually made a difference for me personally. And yeah, when I started to figure out that I was consciously being unproductive rather than actually being productive, there was this day in my journal. I was writing about how frustrating everything was. I was writing about my feelings, and then I wrote why are you sabotaging yourself? Yeah, so those were the words that I wrote, and then it felt like an epiphany to me, because I was like, wow, I may actually be sabotaging myself. And it was something that I thought about, I wrote more about, and then there was this whole other frustration that came along with that, like that knowledge. It was frustrating because if another person was trying to sabotage me, I could have like easily pushed them away, or push them away. But then when it's me, like it was a whole different ballgame. Like, what do I do now? I have gotten this far. I have tried a lot of things. How do I do this? I started to feel pity for myself and everything, but then I didn't want to stay in that space for a long time, because I knew that it would start to bring about old feelings of depression and yeah, self-hate and everything, because I would start to feel helpless and yeah, all those things. But then at that point I had to like um figure out what to do. What do I do? How do I stop sabotaging myself? So I started doing research. I had to do research. I had to do a lot of research to figure out the meaning of self-sabotaging and why I was self-sabotaging myself, and how to stop self-sabotaging. Yeah, and then I found a lot of things, and I went through this whole process. I went through this whole long, painful, enlightening, and great period of self-discovery, and a lot of forgiveness, and dealing with things I had to deal with to be able to move forward in my life. I realized that the past is a very the past is a very is just as important as your present and your future. A lot of people always feel like the future is the most important. That was what I felt. But then I had to learn that your past, without like actually dealing with your past, you cannot actually like, you cannot access your future, and you cannot make use of your presence properly. So I had to go through that process. I had to go through that process. I had to do a lot of things that I wasn't ready to do. I had to get out of my comfort zone, but it was really worthy. And those are the things, all those processes I had to go through. I put them together, and that's what is my taking back control mini workbook right now. So yeah, and yeah, that's something that my brand sells. So after that, that was one of the most important parts or aspects of my journey too, because that was where I had a mindset change. I had like a complete different mind. I felt so different. I felt so free. I felt I felt I felt I felt so free. That's the word. I felt so free. I forgave a lot of people that hurt me. I even started to forgive myself, and I even worked my way to getting like resolving issues with a lot of people that hurt me. And then for the ones that I knew that there was nothing I could do about it, yeah, I let go of them. And that was when I really started my journey. And then there was like a whole big change in my family too. My family has always been a family that shares. Like, we've always been people that talk, we get to know each other. But then during the quarantine period, the lockdown period, it was different. There was this whole new thing that started in my family, that we always normally had family time before, but then this time it was different. It was very different. Like, everybody started to change, everybody started to evolve, everybody started to be different people, and we started to talk. We started to talk about our issues, the problems that we had in life, the things that were bothering us. We started to talk about spirituality. We started to talk about a lot of things, and that was where I realized that my family too, a lot of people in my family too, were going through a lot of things that I was going through. So yeah, and a lot of them saw that I was doing something about my issues, my problems. I was doing something about my problems. So a lot of them wanted me to actually help them get through what they were going through. So that was when the idea for the Nativis brand was born. I started to work in silence on a lot of things. I started to work on my brand. I started to work on products. I wanted to do something. I knew I wanted to do something. And normally when I have a big idea, it's like, oh my god, this is such a big idea. How do I achieve it? Because I start to think about what the idea can be in the future, what a lot of things, and then I'm like, how do I start this? And as a perfectionist, it is so hard to start small because you don't want to start small. I think it's hard for everybody. Like, nobody wants to start small. Everybody wants to start and start as a full-fledged business, like, yeah, and just work from there. But then I was thinking of a lot of things, like programmers, different things that I definitely wasn't able to afford at the time. So that made me frustrated for a while. But then I was like, nah, I can actually start doing something. So I started to do something. I started to use what I had to like start something. And then I realized that what I had was enough for me to actually get through and actually start my business. So I started, and I waited until I started in silence. Like, when I started, nobody actually knew of what I was doing. I was just putting everything together. And when I was almost done, I showed it to my family, and they were really impressed. They loved it. They wanted it to be out now. They wanted me to start at that moment that I was showing them. And then my family became a source of motivation. Like times where I'd slack and I'd have doubts, and then I'd stop doing it for a while, they would motivate me to continue. Got to the time where I had finished everything I needed to finish, and then it was for me to move on from there, like to the point that actually has to do with me actually making sacrifices. And that was where I was very, very scared. I was very, very scared. I was very scared of the unknown. I was very scared of failure. Yeah, that was something that at the beginning of the year, I felt like I wrote it in my future me that I didn't want to be. When I was doing the future me challenge myself, I wrote it that I didn't want to be ruled by my fears. I didn't want my fear of the unknown to overtake me and make me lose opportunities. So that was one of the main reasons why I moved on from there, because it was something that I wanted to prove to myself that I would be able to achieve what I actually put down. Yeah, so I did that. I put my everything into starting my business, and then I actually ended up making it a reality for myself. And that's something that I'm so proud of myself about. My spiritual life is something that I'm also very, very proud of myself about. I grew spiritually, even though there was no church for me throughout the year. I actually grew. And one thing I'm very proud of is that I partook in the Lent for the year. And even though I didn't complete everything, I didn't even do a lot of them, but then I'm proud of the fact that I actually partook in it. I made effort. I made an effort to actually partake in it. My social life is complicated. I lost a lot of friends, but then I also found peace. I wanted to do a lot of things this year, but then I wasn't able to because of the COVID-19 lockdown, obviously. So yeah, there were a lot of things I wanted to accomplish, like as regards to my social life. I wasn't able to accomplish them. Yeah, for school, I passed my exams and moved on to the next level. Yeah, so that is great. Next aspect of my life, finances. Next. Okay, for my finances, I saved a lot. Yeah, but then I for my finances, really, I I'm proud of my finances of this year because I saved a lot, but then I also spent a lot because I was trying to the things I spent a lot of things in trying to appreciate myself. I spent a lot on my self-care. I spent a lot on myself, and that's something that I do not regret. Everything that I spent is something that I am very, very proud of. So yeah, I'm also proud of my finances. My self-care. My self-care is 100%. 100%. Like, I'm so proud of everything that I got to achieve this year as regards to my self-care, because self-care was always something I was lacking in. Yeah, I knew I did the whole morning routines, night routines and everything, but then self-care is deeper than that. Self-care is goes it goes very deep. Like, it gets to, like, there's a mental aspect, there's the physical aspect, there are a lot of things that has to do with self-care, and I'm happy that I my self-care, yeah, it's on 100. Next thing I'm going to do in the video is I'm going to read my 2020 resolutions. My number one resolution was be closer to God. Yeah, I became closer to God this year. Yeah, that was something I did. My second resolution for the year was get into medical school, which is 200 level of medicine, and I did that. I'm very proud. My number three resolution is learn to be self-sufficient. Me as a person, I've not growing up, I was never somebody that was able to be by myself, and that has cost me a lot, really, as a person. And it was something that I had to wean myself out of. I had to be self-sufficient. So yeah, and I'm happy that I was able to get somewhere in achieving that, because I don't think that you ever really I don't think it's a process that actually ever stops. I think that it's a continuous process, but I'm proud of the level I'm at right now. My number four resolution was improve my skin. My skin was very, very bad at the beginning of the year. Very, very bad. But then I was able to improve my skin very, very much. Next resolution was to learn Igbo or Itoma or Ikala, most especially Igbo. But then yeah, because those are my native languages, but then I wasn't able to learn any of them completely. But then I didn't even go far in any of them. But then yeah, you win some, you lose some. Next one is achieving my fitness goals. Hey, see, for this one, my next resolution was to stop chewing my nails, and I'm sorry to announce that I didn't do that. Move on. My next resolution was to love myself and work on my self-esteem and self-worth. Yeah, I got somewhere in achieving that. It doesn't, you don't get to a point where you're like, yeah, I love myself enough, or I've gotten to the end of self-love. You always learn every day. I wanted to start posting more pictures on Instagram, and I wanted to start a YouTube channel. So I did that. Starting a YouTube channel was something I was also very, very afraid of. I was very, very afraid of. But yeah, here we are. Resolution was journaling. I wanted to journal more. Yeah, and I did that. So yes. And then I had a financial goal that I did not achieve. I got somewhere in achieving it, but I didn't get to the point, the end. I didn't get to the end. So yeah, it's like a half 50-50. I wanted to connect more with my family and friends, and that was something I got to do this year. I wanted to read 12 books. I wasn't able to do that. During the year, I only read 2 books. I did not achieve my goal. I wanted to improve my creativity. I felt like I wasn't being so creative, because at that point I felt very stagnant, as I said before. So I needed to be more creative, and I believe that I actually achieved that. Yeah, I wanted to create a functional wardrobe for myself, a nice functional wardrobe for myself, and I got somewhere in doing that. I achieved that goal. I wanted to be more organized, and that was something that I did. I wanted to reduce using my phone, kind of like 50-50, depends on how you see it. I stopped using my phone for useless, stupid things, and then I started to use them for more productive things. Yeah, so I think that's also achieving my goal. I wanted to take opportunities. That was something that I always felt like I didn't do. I let opportunities go because of my fear of the unknown. Yeah, and I did that. I took opportunities this year. Yeah, so I achieved that goal. I wanted to learn to put myself first, and that was something I did, because I've always been somebody that knows how to slave for other people. I can put other people before myself. Like, it gets to a point where it starts to be unhealthy, and that's the point I got to. So yeah, and I achieved that goal of learning to put myself first. The next is my 2020 goals. Yeah, so I have improved relationship record. Yeah, I did that. I want to take 200 level MBBS. I did that. Fitness goals, we're going to skip this one. It's more complicated than it seems. I wanted to develop my own style. I did that. I wanted to grow my nails. I did not do that at all. I wanted to grow my hair. I did that. I grew my hair. I wanted to clear my skin. I did that. I wanted to learn how to cook more, and I didn't really do that. I didn't do that. Same things I knew how to cook last year that I still know how to cook this year, but then still sufficient. I wanted to make my makeup skills better. Yeah, and I believe that I did that. I wanted to take a sewing course this year. That wasn't something I was able to do. I wasn't able to do that. I wanted to do a sewing course, but I wasn't able to because of the COVID-19 saga. Then I had my financial goal, but I wasn't able to achieve that. I wanted to work out more, 50-50. I wanted to be more consistent. I wanted to learn consistency as a habit. That was something that I believe that I'm more consistent now than I have ever been in my life. So I believe that that was something that I achieved, but I still have to work a lot more on myself to be more consistent. I wanted to start my brand, work on and start my brand, and that was something I got to do. Those were my goals for 2020, and I achieved a lot of them. Finally, I want to say that I do not preach perfection on this channel. As you can see, my journey is not a perfect journey. It hasn't been a perfect journey. I have celebrated my goals. I've had my faults. I've had my ups and downs, as you can see. But then I feel like what is more important is your ability to put in work, your ability to fall down and get up again, your ability to want more for yourself, your ability to put in effort. Like, you have to want to be better. That's what matters more. The struggle is not for perfection or to have a perfect life. The struggle is to have the best life that you can have. The best life, your best life, not another person's best life, but then your best life. The struggle is for contentment and for fulfillment. So those are things that I believe are more important. I'm very, very grateful that I was able to see the end of this year. A lot of people weren't. Yeah, and I'm very, very happy that you are here with me too, as you are watching this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, comments, video ideas, comments, anything. And please watch out for my next video. Yeah, this is where I end the video. Have a nice day. Bye.